Hey there, everyone. Episode 3. I was going to go with a really provocative title, which is Kill Yourself, but I didn't want to, in case anybody who is suicidal listening to this, I didn't want to take any chances on pushing them over. I was kind of inspired by The Last Jedi. Destroy the past, kill it if you have to. And also by one of my favorite motivators next to Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas. And he always says, or has been quoted as saying,
to be able at any moment to sacrifice what you are for what you will become.
So, you have to be willing to truly kill who you are. That means, like a lot of people, I want to have a little bit of fun. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And that's why most people don't achieve who they want to become, because they're not willing to sacrifice. And if you don't like where you're at, you are the sum of your actions and thoughts. So if you're not willing to totally destroy that, then you have to, then you won't be able to move forward. I actually did a meditation the other day. I did it before my birthday, but it was would have been fitting to do it on that day instead of a birthday, a death day. I had a very intense, almost vision-like visualization of both me doing it and receiving, of stabbing myself, repeatedly killing myself. And I'm not doing this in like a suicidal manner. This is like to kill the old me. And I've always been called David Dow. I always said that when people call me Dave, I'm like, I'm not Dave. So symbolically, I'm all now going by Dave Dow. My old friends, I'm not going to make them call me that because who've known me forever. But I'm thinking of myself, referring to myself, I kind of think of myself, get really nerdy here, of like the doctor generation, given the doctor always calls himself, or now herself, the doctor. In this case, though, my new regeneration, I am Dave Dow. And I won't be referring to myself as Master Dow anymore, because that was associated with David Dow. And even though before that, when I was teaching a Japanese art, people called me Sensei Dow, that I will go back to. Even though that's kind of not totally killing the past, but like it's killing a big chunk of it. So, yes, I am now fully in my new regeneration cycle. And I did this, and I think it's really important that you have to truly be willing to, all the things you like, all your habits, that's what's holding you back is your habits. And the way you think, all those things, if you don't like where you're at, especially if, having lost your job, marriage, business, you went to a dark place. Now, last episode we talked about mourning the death of your old life. Now we're making sure you finish it off. If it died, might as well truly have it die. You might want to do this step after the mourning phase. If you're ready for that. If you're still in shock from, the destruction of the life, this might not be the step for you yet. That's something you'll have to decide. Sit down and think about it. But for me, I think it was really useful because I was really stuck and wasn't able to move forward. So I decided to truly kill the past. Calling myself and referring to myself in the third person in my head as Dave Dow is huge. Because anybody who knows me, especially for a long time, will know how much I hated be calling that. But it was the only way I could think of clean break. As an example, David Dow procrastinated. Now, my old life, like before it blew up and before my business went downhill, and in a later episode, I'm going to go into a lot of the reasons I think that happened. But like when I was at my peak, especially college, in my business life, before career, employee life, before I was a business owner, I was not the procrastinator. I was always I planned, weekly planning, like being in California, not all of us have washing machines in our apartments, and a lot less of us have houses. Just to keep in perspective, I've lived near the beach cities, or in the beach cities. When I was in Redondo Beach, which is still about 3 miles from the beach, it's not walking distance unless you want to go for a long walk. Those apartments, well, not apartments. There are condos that are really apartments, but they just call them condos because you have to buy your apartment there. Go for like $800,000. Beaches are way over $1 million. Probably several. I like to buy condos, but like my rent right now for those who are outside California, I have a 1-bedroom Manhattan Beach adjacent, so not in Manhattan Beach, and it goes for like $1,350. I can literally walk from within 10 steps, maybe 15 steps from my living room through the kitchen into the bathroom. Bedroom was probably about 30-40 steps, so it's small. I mean, for me, I consider it big because I've been smaller. When I first got divorced, I was in a tiny little room in a shared apartment. I've had a roommate when I first got divorced for several years. Like basically every year I went to a different roommate for a lot of different reasons. But I digress. So truly, like, you want to truly kill the past. You want to totally change the way you think, your habits, maybe even your friends. There's a phrase I use a lot: you can't soar with eagles when you're trotting with turkeys. If friends and family members are not helping you, and when I told you need supportive people around you, don't kill those relationships too that are not being beneficial. And that can be hard, but hey, if your life blew up anyways, just totally cut out what does not work. A Bruce Lee quote is, use what is useful and discard the rest. That can not just apply to martial art techniques, that can also apply to life as well. We are the sum of the 5 people we hang out with. So don't hang out with dead weight. Surround yourself with successful people, or the people, like, whatever new job, new life, new relationship, whatever this new journey you are having at midlife. And as I said, if there are any younger people listening to this can apply like to your new life. As for college, like high school is definitely like a milestone. Ending college, going into work life is a much bigger one. Unless you go into the work life at high school, then it's kind of the same thing, just after college is delayed. So with that, this would work for people who are like starting a new life as well, like younger people who are entering into the work world. This would work for you. If you stumble upon this and you've been listening to this, I appreciate it. But mostly this is for my silverbacks. Even though I don't really have silver in my hair, I have it in my beard, but since I shave that every morning, I only see it until I get rid of it. So, killing the past is a really, important thing to do. And we all have those attachments to the past. It's good to have them as memories, but once again, even though I am Christian, I always call myself Christian plus because I got this Taoist influences in there, Buddhist, and even some pagan. I studied a lot of different spirituality. I don't believe in limiting yourself. I believe in one creative force in the universe. And I believe in the covenant between God and man through Jesus Christ. But I depart from mainline Christianity. I don't think that's the only path. I just think it's a guaranteed path. But I do think there are value in other religious systems. The reason I bring that up is the Buddhists have the concept of the floating world. Like, this is a floating world. It's not, nothing is permanent. If you're the strongest man in the world, you eventually get weak. If you're the smartest person, you eventually get dumb. Cognitive decline. Just like a certain presidential candidate. So no matter what you're good at, if you're wealthy, you'll lose it. Everything is impermanent. That's why the Buddhist concept of a floating world. So if you embrace that and know that the only constant in the universe is change, and even one day that will change if the universe ceases to exist, at least in the multiverse, our universe, then that change will change because it won't exist anymore. So if it doesn't exist, but yeah, that's the only constant in our universe is everything changes, and you have to accept that. One way to do it is to totally cut all ties, and that's why I use that meditation of literally killing myself. How graphic you want to do it, you could do it much more like, is it once again nerdy Doctor Who regeneration? Which I kind of did both. I killed myself and then I pictured a regeneration. So anybody who's seen that series, he can the Doctor can regenerate if he has mortally wounded, isn't fully killed, like a dying, can be from old age, like the first Doctor, or a falling off a building, getting shot, whatever. So I finally stabbed myself and regenerated from David Dow into Dave Dow. So I think this is really useful when you're at the right stage for this. I don't know if this order is really appropriate right after the morning one, but some people might be able to, after the morning period, be right ready for this. I think it would be really useful to use that once you are able to get yourself, like, to totally do a brand new start to, when you're ready for that. So I wish I'd been able to do this months ago, or had the thought to do it months ago. Hopefully, if you're listening to this and you're completed the morning cycle, morning stage, or if you're still in the morning stage of your loss, maybe you can use this come back and listen to this when you are ready. So I hope this is useful. These podcasts right now are around 10 to 15 minutes. I might go longer on some, especially some of the martial art topics. I will try to flag those as well. I might add an extra tag. Like right now, I'm just saying the name of the episode. But I might add in there a special like martial art one, so those who aren't interested in that topic can skip it. So, also, I really appreciate if you support my channel. This podcast, I have you can support it on the main page on Anchor. You can also, I have different links. You can support me on Patreon. Search for either Shinbushi, Shinbushi, or I think it still might be under David Dow. But I also have links in my Facebook and Instagram for it as well. If this is useful, I'd really appreciate the support. Until next time, get on that journey of starting that new life.